Hi, I'm Rocco Staino, and welcome to KidLit TV. And today, it's the Publisher Spotlight Showcase with Ellen Myrick. Welcome back, Ellen.
Thank you, Rocco. It's been a long time.
It has, but this is always a fun time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because we get to talk about books.
I know. What could be better than that?
Yes.
Nothing.
And you always bring us so many books. How many books do we have here today?
We have 50 books here today, Rocco.
50 books.
From 20, maybe 25 publishers. I don't know. Math is not my strong suit.
Okay.
So it's a lot. And 2 author interviews.
2 author interviews.
And story time.
Okay. Well,
All right.
let's get started.
Let's get started. And we're going to start today with Red Comet Press. So Red Comet Press started just a couple years ago. And already, just last week was announced that they are a finalist for Publisher of the Year at the Bologna International Children's Book Fair. I know, right?
Oh.
Yeah, we can clap about that. So congratulations to Angus and Mike and all the team at Red Comet Press. And this is such a beautiful book. It's Walter Finds His Voice. So this is the story of a shy crocodile. You probably didn't know such things existed, but Walter is definitely that. So he kind of likes laying low, I think is a good way of saying it. You can see, can you see him there? He's right there. Kind of hard to spot. So he lays low, but his friends all love him. And they think about what can they do to do something to celebrate Walter. So they have a surprise party. Now, if you're a shy person, what is something you dread more than anything else? Probably having to talk in front of other people and being the center of attention. Walter's not about that.
Just like us.
Oh, just like us. Yes. Rocco, you and I are the definition of shy people. Not. So he has his party. He goes through his party. And then after the party, there's some mean herons. I didn't know herons were mean birds, but in this book they are. And they start tossing around his friend, and Walter doesn't know what to do until he suddenly he finds his voice, and he says, "Stop messing with my friend," which I clearly did not tag. But I should have. Here it is. "Stop messing with my friend." And he speaks up, and they do, because they're surprised, because they've never heard his big voice before. And then he learns he's got a big voice, that he can speak up when he sees there's injustice happening and when he just wants to sing or things like that. So this is a story of him finding his voice and being comfortable using it and getting out there a little bit more. This is not, hey, kids, you don't need to be introverts. This is like, sometimes you need to use your voice, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. So, yeah.
If you're using this at story time, it would be fun to ask the kids to be the voice. And what would that voice sound like?
Yeah, story time tips from Rocco.
There you go.
That's a pretty good idea. So this is Walter Finds His Voice, the story of a shy crocodile. And if any of you are tuning in who are doing the I Read theme for summer reading this year, which is finding your voice, I think this would be a really good book for that. So yeah.
It would.
And you've got something else from Red
Yeah,
Comet.
but before I show the next book, we
Yeah.
have to tell everybody
we do.
about the hashtag, which
yeah.
is Pub Spotlight Showcase
23.
23, just
23. Just 23.
Right, hashtag, and you say that,
Yeah.
or if they comment in the comment box, what will happen?
You will win a selection of the books featured in today's broadcast.
Ah.
So, I mean, that's a lot of books, right?
It is a lot
And
of
they're
books.
good books. You're going to find out more about them, including
Gustav and Henry and the Tiny Island. This is the second book with these 2 characters.
It is.
And they are a pig and a dog. And they go off on an adventure to a desert island that has a sign. How many desert islands do you know that have a sign? Or maybe it is a desert island.
Ooh, I want to go there.
Yes, I do too. So
Clearly I've been.
yeah, so they are good friends, and they get into various adventures. Yes.
It's a lovely friendship story, and the way this book is arranged is really for those kids who want a graphic novel kind of experience. Also has some text involved, so different text types. Not to get too technical, but the reading teachers are with me.
Right.
But it's just fun to read. Just a book that they will want to read again and again, and isn't it good there too? And there's more coming.
More coming.
More
there
coming.
you go.
Speaking of more coming, what?
And this could be in that pile of
It
books.
could, actually, it probably will be.
Yes.
So be sure to comment below. So you have the next book, because
I
we're
do.
staying in that easy chapter book.
Ah,
land.
and here
Yeah.
we have Dagfrid, the Viking girl, no more ear buns. What's an ear bun? I think, of course we did not.
Princess Leia wears them.
Yes, well here she is with her mom with the ear bun. And she's a very strong girl, right?
Yes, she is.
And she takes things into her own hands, and there are two, and they are very readable. Secret Viking Wishes. Yes.
They're really, really fun, and they're illustrated by Olivier Tayek,
Yes.
who is just a master of this kind of illustration. Conveys so much with just a few little squiggles of his pen, and you've got a Viking girl who is not going to stand for it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and here's another fun illustration.
Yeah.
It kind of shows a very strong Viking girl. Yes.
Indeed, yes. Okay, keeping the Scandinavian theme going, we have Odin's Child. So this is the first in the Raven Rings trilogy, which is an international bestseller. It's by Siri Pettersson. And if you have readers who just love his dark materials and are looking for that next great read that it really involves some intricate world building and is fascinating, and it's good versus evil, not eagle, that would be terrible. Good versus evil. It's ravens, not eagles. Just making sure we all know which bird this is about. Then this is the world for you. So in Odin's Child, we have Herka, who is discovered as a baby, and she doesn't have a tail. And you may think, oh no, that's probably a good thing. But in this world, if you don't have a tail, that means you come from another place. And it's another place that is mysterious and scary. And so she's found by this person who makes it look like she had her tail bitten off. And she grows up, and she has some other skills that people don't appreciate. We all know about that, especially when you
Right.
turn 15. They have to go to this immense rite where they find out what their destiny is going to be. And it is just a wonderful read that will suck you into this world. And there's also another trilogy coming, so check it out. Siri Pettersson from Arctis Books, based in Germany, but they do a lot of books from Scandinavia. So yeah.
Yes.
And while we're traveling around,
I have, and this is a different publisher, right?
it is a different
Yes.
publisher, yes. Actually, before you do that, can I talk about somebody?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
I'm
you're
sorry,
going to
Rocco.
are you going to talk about me?
No, I'm not. Well, always. Instead, I want to show you Little Island Books, which is a publisher based in Ireland. And this book has already won so many awards. It's called Run for Your Life, and it is so powerful. Jane Mitchell has written several books about the immigrant refugee experience, specifically the refugee experience. And this is about a girl named Azari and her mother who are forced to leave their home because her life is threatened. So they go into the system, the asylum seeker system. And Jane Mitchell works within that system in Ireland, has actually done research in Calais. This book has been approved by the Amnesty International, and it is just beautifully written, compelling, helps you understand what that experience is. There are a lot of stories about new refugees, but not that many that show how they navigate the system. And the people who help them along the way and the people who are afraid of them. So this is Run for Your Life. It's currently available on NetGalley, so if you want to check it out, comment below and I'll send you a link on NetGalley. And that is from Little Island Books. And because we're already talking about immigrants and that experience, I want to show you this book from Flores Books, based in Scotland. So we're just traveling across the Irish Sea over to Scotland. And this book, Mina Belongs Here, was actually, has already come out in the UK, and was one of the 5 best books of the year for children as decided by 5books.com. So this is about a little girl who is new to her community, new to school. She doesn't speak the language. And this was written by a professor of multilingual education in children. And I love the way she conveys that sense of what it must be like to not be able to speak the language when you come in. Everything is depicted in black and white until she hears somebody say her name. And then that kind of helps her understand what's going on there. And then as she begins to understand more and more color comes into it. Of course, at nighttime, she dreams in her own language, so that is revealed in all of its beautiful color. And she learns about the power of story and music. So she can listen to music and actually feel that music and understand some of what's trying to be communicated through that. because of the power of music. And by the end, she is drawing and illustrating her own stories. But this is Mina Belongs Here, published by Flores Books, and I hope you'll check it out. And you have another book from Flores.
I do,
Yes.
yes, and it's our incredible library book. And you know, when I was a school librarian in an elementary school,
Yes.
I used to see the books that were on display, and I would say to the students, do this book a favor and take it on a vacation. It is tired of sitting here. Well, this book actually shows what happens when that book leaves the library, and it shows the various places the book goes and the various children that take the book to various places. And you can actually see the book. It's the same cover in each of the illustrations.
Mind blown.
Boom, yes. And it does go to various interesting places and meets many interesting children.
It
Yes.
does. Yes. That's a book with a journey for sure.
A book with a journey.
And speaking of another journey, this is Food for Hope from Creston Books. And this is a publisher based in the San Francisco Bay Area. And they're really well known for doing excellent biographies, picture book biographies. They do lots of things, but that's one of the things I think they just are especially good at. And this is somebody I had never heard of before. His name is, I have to look at it, John Van Hengel. And he was somebody who was doing very well for himself. You know, the wife, the 2 kids, a nice house. And then his wife divorced him. He lost his job. Things started to go down. He had a medical emergency. He had to get himself to a place where he could breathe. So he went to Arizona and found himself living in a situation where he was experiencing food insecurity firsthand. So he went to a soup kitchen. And as he was standing in line, he started thinking about ways that it could be improved upon. And he vowed that if he had a chance, he would create a better way to get food to the needy, to the people who were needing food. So he started working with a local church, and he collected food that was going to go to waste and help it get to people who needed it. Before long, they were getting tons of food distributed in their area. And this is one of the illustrations I love because, you know, what happens to the chocolate Easter bunnies after Easter? I mean, they don't need to be thrown away. They're still chocolate.
That's
you
right.
know? So he figured out ways to capture that food and get it sent to other people. And that was the start of Second Harvest, which many of you may know are Feeding America, but has become a model for food banks all over the world. And this is Food for Hope, and I do also want to show you because, you know, it's Creston Books, so they are very good, as is Tilbury House, at back matter. So check out all the great back matter here, and that is Food for Hope. And you've got another picture book biography, right?
Yes, and this book is very close to home for me, and it's Her Eyes Are on the Stars, Maria Mitchell, astronomer. And, you know, she was the first American, but the first woman to actually discover a comet through a telescope.
She was the first person, Rocco.
Yes.
Not just woman, not just American. She was the first
person. And
yeah.
the fact that she was a woman, yes, just adds
Heck
to
yeah.
it at that time. Yes,
Yes.
not today.
Yes,
but
sister.
yes.
Okay.
But anyway, it is very close to home because she actually taught astronomy to many, many, many women at Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, New York, which happens to be where my primary home is.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, I used to go for, when you weren't supposed to socialize
Right.
and stay away from people, I would go for walks on the Vassar campus, and I walked by the observatory that's right here, and I have a feeling that Liz Wong, the illustrator, probably visited the campus. And there was a plaque, there still is a plaque on that observatory discussing her and talks about all the women that she trained as astronomers. And what I am going to do is I am going to take this book back to Poughkeepsie, New York,
All
where,
right.
at the home of Vassar College, and I am going to bring this to the library at Vassar to make sure they have a copy of
Hey,
this.
Rocco, when you're there, would you take a selfie with the book at Vassar?
Yes,
Okay.
I most definitely
Thank you.
will.
And will
yes.
you hashtag that Pub Spotlight Showcase 23?
Most definitely.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, that's great.
Will do.
Okay.
Will do.
Great. So that is Her Eyes on the Stars. And here's another picture book biography. Now you're thinking, I've seen this book
That's
before.
three. Right.
We like
Yes.
picture book biographies
Yes.
here at Publisher Spotlight. We do.
Yes.
And this is Chef Roy Choi and the Street Food Remix. But now it is en español. So thank you, Readers to Eaters, for bringing this book out in Spanish. And you know what's even better? It's also in audio. So we have it in this format in English, we have it in Spanish, and we have it in audio in English and audio in Spanish. So many ways to experience the wonderful story of Chef Roy Choi and how he really invented the food truck, the popular food truck. I mean, this is a guy who's had an amazing, also the art is amazing. By Man One. This one is Cybert Award, just so many exciting things. But this Man One is known as a graffiti artist in California, and I feel like he just did an amazing job on this. But where's the other picture? Here's the other one. There is the food truck, and it is in Spanish, so I should say it in Spanish. El Chef Roy Choi y su remix de la comida callejera. So if you want to comment on how bad my Spanish accent is, please do so in the comment section, and you might win these books, and you can pronounce it yourself better. So there you go.
Well, you know, just mentioned a few occupations in
I
that.
did,
Yes,
yeah.
a chef,
Yeah.
an artist, graffiti
Yes,
artist.
yeah.
Yes, and so that leads right into our next book.
What a segue.
Yes, and,
Yeah.
and the publisher of this book is
Albatross, which is based in the Czech Republic. Don't worry, it's in English.
Yes, yes,
It's in
yes.
English,
But
yes.
it is the big book of jobs, and I loved the table of contents because it kind of gives you a jumping off point for various jobs because it has different things like, are you interested in animals? Do you like working with people? And do you adore books? Before we look at some of the book jobs, because you know we're all about books here,
Yeah.
there were jobs in this book that did not exist when I was a young person, like being an influencer, or
Well, you're one now.
I am, but I didn't know I could actually have that as an
Yeah,
occupation.
yeah.
Yes, or a blogger.
Yeah.
But it has, you know, but if we go to jobs for books, well, we mentioned one, which I was, a librarian.
Yes.
Yes, but it also has, a greeting card writer. Yes.
Very short book.
Yes.
Yeah.
An editor, a proofreader, a copywriter. So these are just a few jobs. And for a very thin book, it actually discusses many, many occupations. And it's never too early to start thinking about your future. Remember that.
Yes, it's
Yes.
never too late either.
It's never too late.
Never
Yes.
too early. It's always a good time.
And you know what?
What?
I'm looking at the wrong camera. I'm supposed to be looking at
That
that
camera. That's the
right.
camera you want.
That's it. And remember.
We also shouldn't be pointing.
Yeah, no,
You know, that's
no. I want you to remember to comment, because if they comment, they can win lots of books.
These books. So that was a book about finding your vocation. This is a book about Henry, who is a snail, but he's a snail with a difference. He doesn't have any slime. So think about it. It's hard to get around when you don't have slime. So Henry has to figure out what is he going to do with his slimeless, existence here. And I love these illustrations. They're so beautiful, aren't they? So we have that. And then we have him not able to crawl up the wall like all of the others. But you know what he decides he wants to do? He's going to build his strength. And he is going to start a snail circus. Ta-da! And everybody comes to the snail circus, and it's a good time had by all. And not just the snails come, everybody from the entire forest floor comes. So that is Henry the Snail who finds his way, and it's okay to be without slime. So there you have it.
Yes.
So while we're talking about, creepy crawly.
Creepy, crawly
Yeah.
things, I have a book
You have a book.
Yes, a nice, our audio person saying, don't bang the books. But anyway, the What Dwells in the Deep.
And the new one is What Lurks, What Lurks in the Deep, too.
Oh,
Just had to say, that's another book.
That's another
There's
book.
another
Oh,
one coming.
did I say the wrong
No, you said
title?
exactly the right thing.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
and this is, I love the name of this publisher.
Eye of Newt.
Eye of Newt.
So creepy and cool books.
Yes.
Eye of Newt is a home for
And
those.
I love when Ellen brings all these books because I always learn something. Even from a board book, I learned that there are different types of squid.
Yeah.
Yes, there is the vampire squid. And there is the colossal squid.
Wow.
And that's only from 2 pages I've learned that. So you can learn a lot about those people, those creatures that
Yes.
dwell in the deep.
You can, and that is part of the Yikes Discovery Series.
Yikes!
Yikes. Isn't that fun?
Yikes.
Yes. Yikes. So another board book series that I'm excited to show you comes to us from Barefoot Books. And these feature different countries. And what makes these different from other book series about countries is that that they're written and illustrated by people from those countries. So we've got India here. And this is by Meera Sriram, who you may know from Dumpling Day and many, many other books. She's done so many, and she always does the good stuff. So what you have here is what it's like to be in those different countries, and then you have phrases in the languages from those countries, and also transliteration, so you can try your way at speaking those languages yourself. So it's just a day in that country, and this is such a beautiful series. This is the second set of 4. There are lots of them to come, and it is very, very exciting to have these available. So, and more, some ones that coming. Nigeria is coming down the pike. So that is by Bumi Emananjo, who is just a wonderful, she created the Atlas Book Club, if you don't know those. And Aya Khalil did the Egypt book, which is another one that's really amazing. So that is from Barefoot Books. And Barefoot Books is just a home of a lot of wonderful books that help us in so many different ways, also with social emotional learning. So Rocco, do you want to talk a little bit about, we'll remind people first of all, things, and then I'm going to step off for a second because there's a special guest coming.
There is a special guest, but again, comment, and you may be eligible to receive a bundle of these books. Our next book is from Barefoot Books, and it's Whatever Comes Tomorrow, and the author is Rebecca Gardner Levington, and here she is. Welcome, Rebecca. Yes, and thanks for coming. And now, where did you travel from today?
From Summit, New Jersey.
Okay, from that wasn't a very long.
No, not
trip,
at all.
Right?
No.
Yes. So tell us about Whatever Comes Tomorrow.
Well, Whatever Comes Tomorrow was inspired by my own life as a child. When I was very young and even as an adult, I suffer from anxiety. And of course, as a child, I didn't know that. I just knew that I liked routine. I liked to know what was going to happen next. And anytime there was any change to my schedule, I would get very worried. I would always worry about what was going to happen tomorrow. What if this happens? What if that happens? And whether it was going to be a substitute teacher or a dance recital, I would get very nervous the night before, and I didn't realize that was anxiety. So I wrote a poem, which is basically a poetic mantra to myself as a child and as an adult, reminding myself and reminding children that whatever comes tomorrow, it could be good, it could be bad, it could be in between. You're going to find a way through it. Even if it's the worst case scenario, you will figure a way through. You have that strength and resilience within you, and it's going to be okay.
Yes. And so you said it's a poem, and it's illustrated by?
Mariona Cabasa, who did a phenomenal job. I mean, you could just tell by this cover, it's gorgeous.
Yes. And do you have a favorite a spread, as they say, an illustration, pages of illustrations?
They're all beautiful, but yes, I do. I will read you from the book and show you the spread also.
Yes,
Here.
we'll show the spread.
Of course. And this is an actual picture of me last night in bed, nervous. And the text reads, "Tomorrow may bring anything you have no way to know. And sometimes that uncertainty gives worries room to grow. They sprout and bloom, consume your mind. You want to run and hide. But you've confronted fear before and reached the other side." So,
And reach the other side, yes.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
and so any suggestion to parents or teachers on how they should use this book?
Yeah, I think, as a parent myself, I think adults tend to come to children who have worry and say, "Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. There's nothing to worry about." And to a child, it's basically telling them that their worried feelings are wrong somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true, like we all worry. Look, I'm shaking right now. And it's very normal.
How could you with me? How could you be nervous with me? I
know.
Unbelievable.
So I think teachers and any adults in a child's life, if they come to the child and they reaffirm that, it's okay to be nervous, but remind them, they have confronted fear before. They have reached the other side. They know that whether it turns out to be something not to worry about, great. If it turns out that it is scary or it is something that they should have been worried about, they'll move past that too. They'll figure a way to get through it. And so this is a way to remind kids, they do have that strength to get through. And in the back of the book, there's some wonderful back matter with some activities and exercises, breathing exercises, and also some written exercises that parents can help their kids, create a worry plan, for example, so that if there's something specific that a child has to, that worries constantly about, they can create a plan so that the next time that happens, they have a plan.
Believe it or not, sometimes I get anxious. And
No.
yes, I do. And so you said breathing. So can you describe one of the breathing?
Sure, like in the back of the book,
Yes.
do you have it open?
Yes, I do.
So here, there's actually a very beautiful little diagram here. They call it square breathing.
Yes.
And so it's basically, let's see if I can do it and talk at the same time. So you're going to breathe in, and then you're going to hold it for 4. You're going to breathe in for 4.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hold it for 4. And then you're going to breathe out as if you're blowing out a candle for 4. And then you're going to wait 4, and then you're going to breathe. So we could do it together if you want. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
We're going to breathe in for 4. Ready?
Yeah.
Good. And then you just kind of repeat that. And what it does is it reminds your body to calm down. And that when your body is calm, then that helps your mind realize, you know what, maybe I should calm down also.
Right. Yes. No. It actually did.
You feel better, right?
I do feel better.
Me
But
too.
before you leave,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. Before you leave, are there activities on your website?
Yes, so there's an activity guide that people can download for free on my website, which is RebeccaGardenLevington.com. So it's just my name all together.com. And if you go to the books area, and you'll see whatever comes tomorrow, and on that page there's an activity guide that teachers or adults can download for free.
Well, thank you so much for coming here and
Thank you.
talking about your book, but especially for showing me that breathing exercise, because now I feel calmer having Ellen come back.
Well, thank you so much.
And remember, you could comment on my breathing exercise or what you do to relieve your anxiety, and you may come up with a whole package of books. Oh, Ellen, I'm so glad you're back.
Are you? I'm so glad to be back. Although it looked like you were in very good hands.
Oh, I was.
Yes, I have to say. So sometimes we need those breathing exercises, and sometimes there is a lot to be anxious about. And this is a book about a child. It comes from Lantana Publishing, that sees what her mother is doing, and that her mother sometimes wants to march. And she wants to right some of the injustices in the world. So this is a book called My Mommy Marches. And let me show you some of the illustrations here. Here are some of the reasons why one might march. Be the change you want to see. I cannot be silent. My voice is powerful. I stand for justice. You can see some of the different ideas people have for that. And then, here we go. Mommy says that some things can't be said with just words. Some problems can't be fixed by staying in one place. Sometimes you have to say it with your feet. And that is what My Mommy Marches is about. It's a book for young activists, and to learn to see activism that's happening in the world and learn ways that they can too can become activists and say it with their feet. So that, again, that is from Lantana Books. They are based in the UK, and they always do books that bring a lot of heart to the world, and I'm so glad to have them. And I think you've got another book.
I do, yes.
from
I
them.
just realized some of my books are out of order, but no. But this one is Watch Me Bloom, which is a bouquet of haiku poems for budding naturalists, and a haiku is 5, 7, 5 syllables.
Yes, you got it, Rocco.
Yes,
All right.
and Ellen and I both, checked to see if our favorite flower was in the book, but that's going to be in the sequel, I think.
I'm sure.
Yes.
I mean, please buy lots of these books so that you can be in the.
Yeah,
Yes.
so for the sequel, I want a
we can have more.
hydrangea, and you want
I want a Columbine.
a Columbine.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but I chose a misunderstood flower to read the haiku, and that is dandelion, because dandelions, people, especially if you have a lawn or something,
they don't get respect.
They don't. No, it's
No, they're the Rodney Dangerfield of flowers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, for people who remember who Rodney
Yes,
Dangerfield is.
I kind of dated myself there, didn't I?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know who Rodney Dangerfield is?
He says, pointing to my daughter, who's like, sure, yes. Okay. Moving on to dandelion.
Yes,
Please
yes,
share that.
Yes. Yellow-maned flowers turned into tempting puff balls, waiting to float free. They do.
Yeah,
They just do.
it's so nice. It's a nice image to have.
Yes.
Yes. And next up, we have, actually, you go next.
I go
with My Brain is Magic.
Oh, that's
Yes,
the mix-up.
that's where the
right.
mix-up is. So
Yes.
this is from Soaring Kite Books.
Yes, and where are they located?
They're in the Washington, D.C. area. It's a
Oh.
new publisher. You know what? I'm going to scoot your pile a little bit further over
I'm supposed
so
to
people
turn.
can see your books.
Yes.
Because I want them to see them.
They're supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, so My Brain is Magic, a sensory-seeking celebration. And when you're alone sometimes, your brain actually communicates with you. And it sometimes will tell you, to feel things like here, feel a puppy, feel slippery wings, or slippery things like fish, or go over and touch a person. Yes. And then sometimes your brain could be a sloth, moving very slowly, like when you're waking up in the morning, and your brain is waking up. So this kind of tells you to think about how your brain affects you. And so, yes.
And one of the things I love about this book, it isn't specifically for children with sensory integration disorder, but for kids who have that and people who know children who have that, it's a great way to understand more of what that experience might be like for them. And also, can I show you something magic about that book? Be prepared. It's a poster. What? How did this happen?
Look at that.
Yeah, the poster is what animal are you, and ways to think about different animals and using that. as a way to think about how your brain works. So that is My Brain is Magic, which has a magic cover.
Right, it has and has an octopus keeps popping up. It was in that other book about sea creatures.
We're all about octopus and snails and
right, yes.
caterpillars. It's just
That's coming up later. Right? Shh.
Give it away.
Well, you're the one that mentioned
alert.
it. Yes.
Well. Also from Soaring Kite Press, we have Rainbow Letters. And this is a story. How many people know about rainbow babies? It's a baby you have after you've experienced loss in a pregnancy, a miscarriage, or maybe a baby died soon after birth, or even a little bit older. And that next baby that comes has a special little guardian angel, and that is the older sibling that went before. And this is a letter, this is a book about imagining what those older siblings would say to the rainbow baby who was born. And so this is a book as much for the parent, I think, as it would be for a child, because the parent is going to grieve that loss for a long time, forever. And this is a way to kind of talk about it and think about it. And if the child hears about it, for them to understand that this is a thing that happened, and that they do have somebody special watching over them in heaven. So it's a beautiful story. This is by Cease Kelly, and I love the fact that I can tell you right now that Cease had a baby about 2 weeks ago. So she had a rainbow baby. So Cease, congratulations. And I know those rainbow babies, the rainbow letters are coming for you. So that is from Soaring Kite Press. And next up, we have Enough Is.
Enough Is.
I know.
That term, I heard a lot.
Did you hear that a lot?
Yeah,
when?
But when I was growing up, but it was always, I'm Italian, it was always enough is enough.
Are you Italian? Oh my goodness.
And anyway, this is a book that talks about the word enough. What is enough? Do we have enough cookies?
Never.
Never.
Oh, so was that a trick question?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Or enough books?
Never.
No, but as the book says, that's because, so that is not enough, because enough isn't a number.
That's true.
Yes, and this discusses that particular word. Can you ever have enough love? I don't think so.
But you can always share it.
You can always share it. Yes.
That's true. I feel like this one fits in with Tilbury House's books like Most Days and Most People, that invite you just to take a deep breath and look around and appreciate the things that are around you and the people that are around you. It's just it's a moment for reflection.
Yes.
And mindfulness. This definitely fits in that mindfulness space.
Book.
Yes, for sure.
Very
and I have
nice.
another book from Tilbury House.
Yes.
Excited to show you. Did I mention bugs earlier? I think I did. So this is In a Patch of Grass, and it is a Steven Spielberg selection, directed by David Attenborough. You see what I did there? Actually, it's written by Fran Hodgkins and illustrated by Dan Tavis. But this is a kind of a mockumentary, if you will, about what would happen in a small patch of grass, and if it was directed by some, highfalutin little bug creatures. So here we have, just the different direction. Good morning, I'm David Attenborough. Welcome to a patch of grass. As the sun rises, the morning dew on the spider's web sparkles in tiny light buzz. And he says, yeah, hurry up, we need to get to the action here. And you have this kind of graphic novel approach to the storytelling. Here we have information about the spider who is looking at their next tasty meal, and then you get some really good, solid nonfiction information. So I think you would call this informational fiction, actually. And oh my goodness, there's a grasshopper trying to steal the show again, because he's always singing. You know that. Not grasshoppers. Yeah, it is grasshoppers, right? Yeah, it's grasshoppers. They're always singing. So there we have that. Such a fun book and great information about the buggy things in this world. And this is from Tilbury House, who does such a good job on all these buggy books. And I have to show you the cast and crew in order of appearance. So that is In a Patch of Grass from Tilbury House.
A documentary,
now,
huh?
Yes, it is a documentary. Now, before we move on, I have something to show you. And it's not a finished book.
Okay.
So, but you may have seen it in the past. because this is a book that's been out of print for a little while, but I'm delighted to tell you that can you hum Happy? Anyway, Happy is back! Yay! And the crowd goes wild.
And the crowd goes wild.
Thank you. The crowd goes wild with a little bit of prompting.
Yes.
So this is the best-selling emotions book by Mies van Hout, and Mies can do more with some brightly colored, I think it's chalk and black backgrounds than anybody I've ever seen. This book is so amazing. Each fish represents a different emotion. It's wonderful to have back. It's a little bigger than it was before, a few more bells and whistles to the book, so it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And in case you need a little reminder of what some of these little fishy creatures are like, I'm happy to show you upside down. Let's show you right side up because it will mean more that way. This is Brave with this. We were talking about this earlier, right? Because Rebecca was being very brave to be here today. So you may be small, but you can still be brave. You can also be stapled a little bit oddly. There you go. And then Curious, which is really fun. So just wondering what's coming around next. And then the last one I have to show you is Glad. I am so glad this book is coming back, and I bet you will be too. So that is Happy, coming to us this time from Pajama. And you've got another Pajama Press book.
I do, and
do.
it's I Love My City. And in 56 pages, it shows us how a city works. And I enjoyed this book from the very, very beginning with the end papers that has the names of various cities. And I like a challenge, and I like picking. I think I want to decide that I want to visit every city.
Road trip.
Yes,
Yeah,
on the
let's go.
end pages. And one of the ones I'm looking quickly, I've been to several times besides New York City, is Albany, New York. And I have to give a shout out to our state capital and our, our nation's capital, Washington and Paris. Which city have you been to
Well,
here?
I don't want to look at the ones I've been to. I want to look at the ones I want to go to.
Yeah, like which one?
Ankara, Turkey is on here.
Ankara, Turkey, yes.
And I think Copenhagen.
Ah.
And, oh my goodness, Bilbao in Spain.
I've been,
Karachi,
yes,
Pakistan.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Shanghai.
Well,
Oh, just so much.
they're all very different.
They are.
Yes, but they all are very similar because they, no matter if they're big or small, they need various things.
They do.
Like, public services. Every city, has a police force that keeps you safe,
true,
and a fire department,
Yeah.
also. And so there are different services that they provide. Many cities have. We've been talking about libraries filled with books. So that's
Yeah.
just something else. And then we have there's so much, but I went to the end over here because I've been into waste disposal here, and there it is, how we remove our rubbish. And I just received rubbish cans just like this, and and I've been learning how to separate my trash to save the environment.
Well, good.
Yes,
That's
and
an
so
important
so
thing.
that's just like two of the many.
And it also has the
different.
history of cities is included in there and how cities developed over
Yes,
time.
yes, and
Yeah.
and when you're not in a city, you may be in a suburb.
Yeah,
The history
yeah.
of suburbs, the places outside of the city. So this is like almost everything you wanted to know about a city. Yes.
Yeah, and that's a really good nonfiction book. It's interesting the different things that are being turned into really gorgeous illustrated nonfiction, and I think your next book is a good example of that.
My next book is one of my favorite.
I know.
Because it has to do with food.
Well, of
Yes,
course,
yes,
yeah.
Yes. And it is, I'm a cultured fellow. And
Clearly.
Yes, yes.
Clearly,
yes.
yes.
And we have a And my food is also very cultured. We have the cultured, what do we have?
We have cultured donuts.
And that's the title of this book, Cultured Donuts, Take a Bite Out of Art History. A tasty way, did I say a tasty way?
Yeah,
a tasty way to learn about various artists.
Here's some inspiration for you, Rocco.
I am
You've got
inspired.
a beautiful little pink iced donut that has not been eaten yet.
Not yet, yes. And see how I'm staring at this?
I know you.
Yeah,
are you hungry? Yeah, I'm
no,
going to put this over
I'm
here.
No, I am
Donuts.
thinking.
You're thinking, okay.
How various artists would.
Well, let's look inside the book and see.
And that's what this book does.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's so many different artists and they show the different ways artists. They tell you a little bit about. Well, we'll do the first two, and the first one is Michelangelo, and they tell you a little bit about Michelangelo and some of his work, and then they show the interpretation of that donut, and then and just flipping the page, you see the color on the Michelangelo, and then you go to the Rembrandt one, and it's very dark.
Yes.
Yes.
Some burgers are enjoying the donut.
Yes. And then, we have. We have. The Dali one, Salvador Dali, but Chloe Tyler. Chloe Tyler. Yes, she ends the book, I believe, with
this great back matter.
With a great back matter, but I also think she also has her interpretation. Does she? Of the donut? Maybe not, but anyway.
She does in all sorts of places.
Yes, all different
Here's the
places.
Chloe donut.
Chloe donut.
Yeah.
Yes. And
should we show these pictures to our audience?
Yes, I'm just
just an idea.
Just
I'm enjoying it, but I've seen it.
Yes,
so,
it is fascinating, and a great activity would be to take your donut for an art teacher. Yes. To take your donut into class, share the book with the class, and tell them to interpret the way they see the donut.
Donuts.
Yeah.
One thing that donuts are really good at
is what?
Is helping you to make friends with people.
Yes.
But sometimes you don't have a donut.
No.
So you need a little help. And that's where this book from Burbay Books comes into play. This is How to Make Friends, A Bear's Guide by the improbably but extremely cutely named Cat Rabbit. And I love this book because it has some surprises. And you have these wonderful little creatures. And Bear is just trying to make friends. So he tries various ways to make friends. And some of my favorites. Here we go, How to Make Friends. And he has his list here. Follow your friends everywhere, dress to impress, bake treats. That's where the donuts come in. And then I love this illustration from the top. And Cat Rabbit actually created all these little creatures. It was on display in Portland not too long ago. So if you are interested in this kind of art, then be sure to follow her on social media. She's a very active presence. And who doesn't love some koala karaoke? I mean, this is such a lovely, charming book, and I think anybody who enjoys these little creatures is just going to have a great time with them. So that is How to Make Friends from Burbay Books from Australia. So, and you've got Moth in a Fancy Cardigan next.
Oh, that one, yes.
Yeah, that one.
Yes. Moth in a Fancy Cardigan, yes. And we'll be talking about moths
yes, we will.
later.
Preview
also.
of coming attractions.
Yes. And anyway, it is about a gray moth, and, and he feels he kind of doesn't.
Let's show the picture.
Yes. Where is this right here?
That picture.
Right,
That's a good picture.
What picture? Right there.
Right there.
I'm looking for the little clip on the.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, you kind of blend in, and he wants to stand out, and it is the story of his moving among his fellow moths and other insects. Yes, and and it's it's a great short chapter book.
Yep.
Yeah, for the for those when you're looking for a short chapter book. Yeah, Gary.
Yeah, I love this book.
Yeah.
Charlotte Lance.
Yes.
It just captures that school atmosphere so beautifully
Yes.
in this one. And then by transposing into a school for moths and
Right,
butterflies,
right.
you add that whole peer pressure thing that comes into play. Gary
Right.
just wants to be sparkly and pretty like
Right,
the other ones.
right.
And sometimes they're a little tired of being sparkly.
Yes.
And they might want to experience what it's like to be Gary Graymoth.
That's right.
And the illustrator on this, David Booth, people have been trying to lure him into illustrated books for children for a long time, but it was his friend Charlotte who got him into it, and man, their work is amazing. I can't wait until their next one.
And the publisher again?
Is Burbay Books in
Oh,
Australia.
oh,
So if you go to
okay.
Australia and you see some amazing graffiti, might be David Booth. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
very
yeah.
good.
All right. Well, next up we have Nosy Crow. So you may know that Nosy Crow is launching its own U.S. imprint here in May, and this is the very first book in that imprint. So I want you to imagine the most fluorescent pink you've ever seen. Got it? Now multiply that times 10, and that is what this is. Because I know that the camera cannot pick up the intensity of this. You know what? I just went into this whole thing without giving you a chance to talk about Granny.
Yeah, right.
I know, that was so rude. Hold
why-
that thought.
Hold that thought. No, no.
Frank and Bert are going away
You
for
wanna
a second.
finish?
Nope, I want you to tell me about Granny.
She figures, she goes, Rocco's looking at his notes over here saying, yes,
I have a book.
I have a book.
Don't step on my book.
Yes, and
And I love
Granny
this
came
book.
here on the
Empire
Empire
Windrush, yes.
Windrush. And this book hit very close to home because it reminded me of a situation when my daughter was young and she had to write a play and we were looking for inspiration. And so this is a grandmother who is trying to give her granddaughter some inspiration because she has to dress up dress as a woman she admires, a person
from history,
right,
yeah.
that she admires. And as she's doing this, the grandmother is telling her about various, women in history like Rosa Parks. And but as she's telling her this, she's also sharing her memories, and she brings out the little satchel or little suitcase that she brought to Great Britain from the Caribbean.
The Caribbean, yeah.
Right, from the Caribbean. And it was interesting because when I was doing this with my daughter, we discussed the trunk that her great-grandmother brought from Italy, which ended up actually going back to Ellis Island and being on display in
Wow.
Ellis Island.
Cool.
Yes, in the museum there. And she talks about the ship that she was on, and we talked about the ship that her great-grandmother was on, and then going through immigration, and my daughter's grandmother went through Ellis Island where the trunk ended up.
Yep.
And another coincidence is that the grandmother in this story was a seamstress.
Oh.
And just like the great-grandmother, my daughter's great-grandmother. So there were many, many, many parallels. But the nice thing about this is just like my daughter, who decided to write her play about her great-grandmother, the girl in this book decided that the person she admired was her grandmother, and she dressed like her grandmother and carried the little satchel. So this was I'm going to steal this book. Yes, no, I'm not
Well,
going
we've
to
been
steal.
warned.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, but
Yes.
I'm going to buy it. That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, you're gonna buy that book,
we
Rocco.
need to buy the books.
Buy
yes,
the book. But that's
right.
my only one, so you're not getting
I'm
that
not getting one. Okay,
sorry, until
okay.
it gets, actually
Where
gets out
did it
here.
go? Okay,
So the
that's
good thing to know about this book is this is the 75th anniversary of the Empire Windrush sailing from the Caribbean to the UK.
Oh.
So this is a significant time to talk about this story. And Patrice Lawrence is a really respected author in the UK and is just a perfect person to communicate the emotions and feelings and also to make it relevant for today's kids.
And tell them about this.
Yes, Stories
Yeah.
Aloud.
Yes.
So not every, but most of the Nosy Crow books, the ones that are stories, have an audiobook element to them. And you can actually listen to them on audio by using a QR code on the book, and it's called Stories Aloud. Or you can just stick around and I'll read Frank and Bert to you right now. So let's have a short story time, shall we?
Why, yes.
What a great segue that was. So remember the pink. Okay. All right. This is Frank and Bert, the first of many adventures, we hope. And I have to do this so I can actually see it. All right. Can I see that? Hello, I'm Frank. This is me and my best friend, Bert. We love to play hide and seek. Bert thinks he's amazing at hiding, but he isn't. He's actually terrible at it. Here's what happens. I close my eyes and I count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here I come, ready or not. And there he is. Or he's there, as plain as day. See him behind the rock? But Bert says I always find him because he doesn't get enough time to hide. He would really love to win hide and seek, even if it was just once. Well, I really love winning too, but I decide to give my best friend a chance and count to 100, which is a long time. So Rocco, can you do me a favor? Can you count to 100 audibly?
Really?
Yeah, just do it.
1, 2, 3,
I start counting,
4, 5,
and off Bert
6,
runs.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
You're doing great.
18, 19, 20, 21,
Keep going.
22,
Yeah,
23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36,
You know what?
37, 38, 39,
Let's do
40.
some multiplication and go to 80.
80,
All
1,
right.
82, 83,
Okay,
84,
good, nice.
85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100.
Yay! Well done, Rocco. Here I come, Bert, ready or not. And there's Bert. You did that really well. Right away, I find a clue. You have to remember this is really electric pink, okay? And I'm sure that when I get to the end, I'll find a rock or a tree or something like that hiding a bear behind it. I won again. I'm about to reach out and pull Bert's tail, but I stop. Bert is going to be very sad if he loses again, and even though I love winning, I love my best friend more. So I take a deep breath and shout, and you all can help me shout, Bert!
Bert!
I give up. Where are you? And out he pops. The happiest bear in the world. My best friend Bert has won at last. And that is Bert. Yay! Now we're back home and I'm fixing Bert's scarf so he's ready to play another day. This is me and my best friend Bert. We love to play hide and seek, but this time I'm going to hide and Bert is going to find me. Bert closes his eyes and starts to count. Don't worry.
No.
And off I run. He'll never find me. And that is the end. Ha. And then a big wink. It's a big bear wink. Frank and Bert, I hope the first of many adventures, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is from Nosy Crow, and now we have a treat. We're going to have a little break, but while we're taking a moment to get ready for our next interview, we're going to listen to Fred Small, who's going to sing his song, Everything is Possible. And it's also available in Spanish. I think we're just hearing the English version, but know that it's also in Spanish, which is a beautiful, beautiful story. Some children grow up to be strong and bold, while some are quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some take it slow, some go in their own way in time. So this is Everything is Possible with gorgeous illustrations. by Allison Brown, who actually sought him out because she wanted to illustrate his song. So we will do that right now.
We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. As the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whoever you will. You can travel any country where your heart leads, and know I will love you still.
Welcome back. And Rocco, you've changed. Huh, okay. So we're actually, this is not Rocco Staino. This is Kevin McCLOSKEY. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Ellen. Great to be here.
I'm so delighted you're here, and I'm really so excited that you have yet another Giggle and Learn book. So if you don't know these books from Toon Books, they are amazing. Nonfiction, graphic nonfiction for little ones. We've got Snails Are Just My Speed. We've got The Real Poop on Pigeons. We have We Dig Worms, which was the first. And Ants Don't Wear Pants. And Something Fishy. And coming this spring, July, it's July now, thank you so much for telling me that, is Caterpillars, What Will I Be When I Get to Be Me? So tell us about caterpillars and what's going on, and I think you've got original art.
Yeah, I do have some of the original art. I draw on all kinds of paper and all kinds of paint. This is a little drawing for the caterpillar book, and it's sort of what I call taxonomy for tots.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, there's a picture of a worm and a snake and a caterpillar, and young people learn what's the difference. A worm has no bones. It's an invertebrate. Snakes have bones. Caterpillars, you can tell, they have feet. They have 6 feet up front, and then they have prolegs in the back. Some of my drawings are kind of realistic. This is a spice bush swallowtail, one of the prettiest little caterpillars, and it looks like it has a big eye, doesn't it?
It does.
It doesn't really. That's called a mock eye. It's to scare predators, make the birds think it's always looking in every direction. They really have 5 little eyes on the other side of their head, that's way down there. They're almost invisible.
So caterpillars are sneaky.
They are sneaky characters.
Okay.
It's tough to survive as a caterpillar.
Yeah, well, you're delicious. I've heard. Yeah.
But some of them become moths. We were talking about moths. Some of them become butterflies. But both butterflies and moths have this amazing capacity to deal with their environment differently than us. And this is kind of a cartoony drawing to give you an idea of how they hear.
Yeah.
Their wings pick up the vibrations. And so I made a drawing of a butterfly with ears on both sides of its center. And I drew little noses because, oddly enough, butterflies smell with their feet. So this butterfly is landing on a flower with 6 little noses.
That's amazing, and kids can really respond to this because it's kind of dramatizes the whole experience for them. So they're going to remember that so well.
Well, I find little kids look at pictures longer than you expect. And they have better eyes than us, and they go all over the page. Yeah, they do love it.
So they're going to notice those little noses on the feet of the
They will.
for sure.
They will.
Okay, cool.
It's scientifically accurate.
Yes.
Oh, I brought a couple pictures from the ant book.
Let's find
And
ants.
I'm so fortunate. Yeah. This is kind of scrap paper. I use craft paper, recycled paper bags, and I just glue it together. But these ants are called leafcutter ants, and you'll find them in South America. And when I seen them, I always thought, wow, leafcutter ants eat a lot of leaves. You would think so. But no, what they do is they collect the leaves, bring them back to the colony. The queen excretes a chemical, and a fungus grows on the leaves.
Wow.
And they eat the leaves. So ants were the first farmers in civilization.
Who knew?
That's an argument we could make.
Yes. I mean, things you never expected to find from a children's book, but here you are. Yeah. And I do have this if you want to show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to share this and read the dedication to my ant book, because I love to visit libraries, and I visited the Tacoma Park Library in Maryland. And a little girl named Francie, when I was doing my snail book, said, "What's your next book?" I said, "It's going to be about ants." And she said, "Is it going to have exploding ants?" And I said, "There's no such thing as exploding ants." And she corrected me. She said, "Yes, there is. You find out and put my name in your book. I'm Francie."
Wow.
And I just wrote her name down on a scrap of paper, and I went home and I looked it up on the internet, and it turns out there are exploding ants. It makes no sense, but they explode to protect the colony, to protect the queen. They're the last line of defense. So when I dedicated this book, here's the exploding ants. They just pop, and this yellow goo goes over the beetle or who's ever attacking the anthill. It's dedicated for the children who teach me things, like Francie at the Tacoma Park, Maryland Library, who told me all about exploding ants.
Wow, that's amazing. And you know, I think Francie will probably have her own books before long.
She will. She's so bright. She knew the Latin name for that ant, which I don't.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, it's
thank
lost
you
to
for
me.
telling
Lost
us
to
that.
me.
Yeah, it's all good. But that art is amazing from that.
Oh, thanks.
So tell me a little bit about how you first started doing these. If I remember right, your wife was part
My
of the...
wife,
Yeah.
Pat, we call her Mama Pat, she's a librarian, and she
Yay.
needed 3 books about each subject before she could do a story hour. And she had 2 worm books.
Yes.
And she said, "I need one more worm book, and it's got to be funny but true." And so I just drew it on paper bags. I brought it to her. She read it. Then the other librarians were reading it, and I sent it to Toon Books, to Françoise Moulet, who is the art editor at the New Yorker.
Yes.
She's the editor of Toon Books, and she took my drawings, which are kind of humble, and she said, "Don't do any Photoshop on them." And she manages to put in the words and clean them all up and designs the covers, and they all look so beautiful. It's like a box of candies when I get a new book. I just love the
Françoise
covers.
Moulet is a very impressive person.
She is.
Not only is she the art director of the New Yorker, but she's won the Legion of Honor from France. And she won the Ingenuity Award from the Smithsonian
Institute, yes.
So, I mean, and probably lots of other things too. Those are just the ones I can remember at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's great. So she did it, and you've been publishing with Toon ever since.
6 books, yeah.
Wow.
Somebody told me 2 books are 2 books, but 3 books is a series. So we got
Okay.
we got a
Deep
series.
thoughts. Yes, we got a series here. We definitely have a series here with these, and we're so excited to have caterpillars coming up soon.
Yeah.
And do you have a little something special
Oh,
you
I
want to
just
show
wanted to
us?
share this with
Yeah,
you.
it's pretty cool.
I have a big cranky box, as I call it, and it's like a primitive iPad. Before there was electricity, people in Europe and even in Asia had these sort of puppet show things where I've got a drawing that's 20 feet long. We don't have time to show it all, but I'm going to show you the end of it. And this shows the animals that I love. When I go to schools, I say, what animals do you like? The kids like sharks. They like narwhals.
Of course.
And they like Tyrannosaurus Rex. But I say, look at pigeons and snails and caterpillars and ants and worms. They're just as interesting as those really big animals. And you'll find you can learn about them and see them in your own gardens. Oh, I'm going to go forward rather than reverse because I can't show you the whole thing, but I'll show you the end. And at the end of my show, I remind them, because everybody's jealous. All the kids want to have a cranky box.
Oh, yeah.
I said, you can't have a cranky box unless you make it yourself.
And you made that one yesterday.
Yes, I made this one yesterday. But you can get a book. And Mr. Book says, remember me? I'm easy to carry and no crank is needed.
Amazing.
It isn't it?
Books are incredible. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for coming
My
to visit
great
with us
pleasure,
today.
Ellen. Pleasure.
And please check out all of his books. And, you know, I bet you have a website where people can find out more about what you do.
I do. It's heymcclosky.com. And all my books are going to be re-released in paperback this spring.
Oh, that's
Every
great.
one of them.
So, you know, buy lots of them. Yeah, you can buy them in multiples.
That's the spirit.
So, yes, thank you so much for being with us, Kevin. And can't wait for caterpillars to be here and learning more about them. So, yeah. And moths.
Yeah, I love moths.
Because they become moths too, yes.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So I want to remind everybody that if you would like to win some of these wonderful books we've been talking about today, please be sure to comment below and on the website to win a collection of the featured titles. And I'm rejoined now by Rocco Staino. Rocco.
Hey, I wish I had hair like Kevin. Yes, I feel inadequate here.
No, you are perfectly adequate.
Oh, well, thank
I love
you.
you just the way you are.
Oh, okay.
Yes, okay.
Is that a song? Okay.
I think it's a song. I don't know. It's a couple songs.
I think it is also. Yes. Yes. I'm just getting myself.
So our first publisher we're going to talk about now is Gecko Press out of New Zealand.
Yes, and anybody. Yes.
Anybody.
Well, again, I keep going back to my days of being a librarian in a school. This book would be very, very popular because it is a very frank and honest book about bodies. And it, you know, earlier when we were talking about jobs, and I was saying, you know, jobs that didn't exist. Well, you know, things that may have existed, but really weren't easy to find information about topics are in this book. You know, for example, under gender, you know, they talk about trans, and you know, so this is, you know, an informational book, and it tells us things like that, and it talks about body piercing, body image, and oh, this is a great one.
Yeah.
Body language, you know, and about, you know, the way you stand.
Sure.
And, you know, kind of says, you know, like, stay away from me, or I'm
not.
friendly.
Yeah,
right, yes. And
Even like consent, you know, is in
Right.
there, and yeah.
yes. Oh, and I love this spread that, you know, comes throughout the book, and it shows a group of people. This is the family reunion in 2023. I should go and find the one. Okay. Yeah, here, family reunion in 26. Let's see if I could go back. Well, anyway, it shows the people aging through time.
When they start to look like my mother, that
Yes,
kind of thing.
right, yes. So anyway, it is a very informative book. And cosmetic surgery it talks about, and body decoration, piercings, and things like that. And yeah, it's a needed book.
It is, and I feel like Gecko does such a good job with these books. They did a book called Tell Me. They also have one called How Do Animals Fall in Love. So if you're looking for good nonfiction on topics around about this topic or things around this topic, then Gecko is a great place to start. So I have another book from Gecko to share with you as well, because we are not finished with squirrels and their big bear best friends. In this case, we have Panda and Squirrel. This is called The Moon is a Ball, Stories of Panda and Squirrel by Ed Frank and Tae Kyung Kong. And this came to us from Gecko by way of New Zealand, but originated in the Netherlands. So this is a beautiful story. There are 9 stories in here. They're things you can share at nighttime or when you just need to take a minute and have a moment of mindfulness and just enjoy these 2 friends and some of the things they do. The illustrations are absolutely stunning. And is the moon a ball? Well, you know, Squirrel's going to try to catch it and bring it down to Panda, but it's harder than it looks. So they build this great big ladder, and it works fine until Panda decides to climb up after Squirrel, and that doesn't get there far enough. In the end, they just have a good time being together. So these are gentle stories of friendship, and they invite a moment of reflection, even if the moon is not over the water, ha ha ha. But also, they also don't always get along. Sometimes they get mad at each other, and they have to make up again. But in the end, they enjoy being with each other. And again, I just think this is a beautiful story to share, especially at a time when you need quiet and reflection. And that is from Gecko Press. And next up
is Britannica.
I know,
yes,
right?
when
Yeah.
you hear the name Britannica.
Britannica, yeah.
Britannica,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, you think of encyclopedia.
You do.
And yes, and here is the baby encyclopedia for curious kids 0 to 3. And, you know, I've been mentioning my time as a librarian, but
Yeah.
I'm spending more time being a grandfather.
Are you? Do you have grandchildren?
Yes, I have.
Would you show me
3.
pictures later?
I could show now.
I know,
yes.
everybody wants to see them.
Put
If
up
you
the
want to
slides.
see pictures, then
Yes.
just comment below and we'll post them in there.
Put up the slide. No, but anyway, I just found this, and this book is substantial.
It is.
And it, you know, talking about babies, you know, and you know, here's something, you know, there's a spread about babies, and there are, it's very informative machines, you know, machines like playground equipment. Yes, 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 yes. And you showed me something about this book.
I
Yes,
did.
yes.
I
It
think
was
it's
the
magical.
magic about this book. You know, well, animals, they always like looking at animals
Sure.
too. But so what's the magic thing?
Oh, well, let me show you, which will be hard for you to see, but it lays flat.
That's right.
So it's a miracle, and it's because of it has the floating spine. So, you know, it's how books are made when you know what
Yes.
you're doing. So
That-
yay,
that-
Encyclopedia
yes,
Britannica
yes, it is.
for doing that.
I like this book.
You like that book? You
do.
want that book?
I do.
You-
Yes.
you-
Okay,
I know.
Maybe later.
You can
Okay.
have that book.
Oh, I could.
That
It's
one
so
you can
heavy.
have.
Yes,
Yes.
so heavy. But I will take it.
It's heavy, but you know they'll love it, and
Yes.
you'll love sharing it with them. I have another book from Britannica Books, and this is Animal Factopia. So you've seen these before. We had Factopia, we had Return to Factopia, we even had Gross Factopia. But kids love animals, and that's kind of been a theme today. We have so many books about different animals, different configurations of animals. So this is a book where a kid can dive in and find the thing they're curious about and just follow it where it will lead. I love how this book is arranged, and this is the table of contents. So you can see all the different things that are included. And then you'll have pictures like this, and you can follow the trail of all the different facts. And then at different times it may say, hey, you're interested in this? Then you should go to this page. And if you're interested in that, then you should go to a different page. So you can actually go and read this book not in the order it necessarily appears in, which is pretty cool. And one of my favorite things is, you know, I'm just fascinated with tardigrades. You know, the little water bears. Did you know they look just like beluga whales? I didn't know until I read this book. So that's just one of the many interesting facts you'll find in Animal Factopia. And I have a dream. Do you want to hear about my dream?
Yes.
My dream is that a school, many schools maybe, libraries, whatever, any place people gather, will take the idea of the Factopia, building a Factopia, and one classroom will start with a fact, and then the next classroom will take that fact and add something different, and the whole school will become Factopia. Wouldn't that be cool?
It would.
Yeah. If you'd like to see that, comment, and I will send you more information about that, because I think that could become a reality.
Yes.
So there we go. And you have something next.
Yes. And the publisher is?
This is Cicada Books. Or if you'd rather say cicada, you can.
You say cicada and I say cicada.
Okay.
Yes.
And
yes.
this is an amazing nonfiction book.
You're right. Of infographics. Yes.
Infographics.
Changing world, cold data for a warming planet. We hear about climate change, and this shows us through information, infographics, life in the rainforest, Amazon rainforest.
This has already gotten a star review, by the way. Did I
Did
mention
it?
that already?
No, you did
Yeah,
not.
it's a star review.
Yeah, and one about climate change, right
The whole
there.
book is about climate change.
Yes,
right?
yeah. How climate change affects the natural world.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and there it is. Yes.
So much to engage in on every single spread, something to think about on every spread. And this is the way kids learn these
And
days.
I like this one. A very, very brief history of energy.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
Very
short.
brief. Yes.
One spread.
It starts. It starts with 200,000 BC.
That's a long time ago.
A long time ago. Yes.
Hold that thought. I'm going to talk about that in just a bit.
Are you?
Well, maybe.
Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Was there anything else?
No, I think you covered it. Thank you. Infographics, and the I should say that the the creator of this book is a really well-known
David,
graphic
Gibson?
Yeah,
Yes.
in the UK, and this is his first book for kids. But really, this can be used for anybody. Anybody can learn from this, and I know I learned a lot. And it's kind of terrifying, but it's good for me to know. So another nonfiction book from Cicada, which they do so well. If you don't know their nonfiction, if you don't know Cicada books, be sure to check them out, is Nomads, and this is Life on the Move. So this looks at 7 different nomadic communities around the world and how they live, how they eat, their history, where they go, how they travel, their homes, things like that. And I love this table of contents because it's literally a map. And you'll notice that some of them, the Roma, are in various places because they do move around. And this gives you an idea of how the illustrations, these gorgeous watercolor illustrations, but this is information, this is illustrated nonfiction at its finest. And there is so much to engage in and learn from on every one of these pages. And I don't think that nomadic peoples have really been given the attention they deserve, and their history has not been shared as widely as that of other people. So be sure to check out Nomads, Life on the Move, and there is a glossary in the back because, we love that back matter.
Yes.
So that is from Cicada. Now you've got a cool book.
Yeah, I love the feel of this book.
From Helvetique in
yes.
Switzerland.
Helvetique.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
And it's Arborama. Yes. Oh, and where was this book? Where was this book when I was conducting with my students tree census of the school property, and this would have come in very handy.
I don't think Lisa Voissard was born yet.
Oh.
Sorry.
She wasn't, or maybe she was one of my students
Yeah,
and
maybe
said,
she
"You know
was.
what? We could use
Rocco
a book
could use
like
that
this."
book.
Yes, right,
Yes.
exactly, and it, gives us information about various trees. Now, redwoods, I know of them, but I'm not familiar locally with them. Yes, but the eastern hemlock, I am very familiar with. Yes, and it gives you information on identifying trees, how to identify a tree, which was part of the project. Yes, and then they had to do graphing and some mathematics and different things like that. So this is, and then there's an educator's guide. We all like, information in the back. Yes, and it says, observe, and explore, protect. Very important, protecting the trees.
And you're mentioning the book feel too.
Oh, yes, I did. You notice how I keep
Yeah, I
feeling
know.
the book,
It's just a book you want to hold and look at, and
Yes.
and it also smells good. I just, if you like the smell of ink, yeah, maybe that's just me.
And this may be in the package
Oh, yeah.
of books
This
if
could be-
people
yeah,
comment.
for sure.
Comment below or use the hashtag, which is
Pub Spotlight Showcase 23. So,
Okay,
yeah.
yes.
So do that. Also from Helvetique, I have this book, which is Big Bangs and Black Holes, a graphic novel guide to the universe. So this is by Hergé and Frankfurt, but with a little bit of help from Michel Mayor, who is a Nobel Prize laureate. So how cool is that? So this book is full of surprises. That's one of them. And you can see that this is just beautifully arranged. And for those kids who really prefer to learn in a graphic nonfiction format, Celeste is our guide through this history of the universe. And remember when I said 200,000 years ago? Well, I was kind of going back further. It's a few billion.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, back to the Big Bang, or as some scientists call it, which I learned from this book, the Big Start. It wasn't necessarily a bang. And this is something else I learned. You see this image right here? Right here, this is the cosmic microwave background. This is the light emitted after the Big Start from the first photons. So, and this is a picture that is real and it still exists in today's world. And they use it several times in the book, but it's fascinating the things you can learn in this book. I feel like I need to read it at least 3 more times before I will really understand it. But it gives you a history of physics and of how our understanding of physics and the universe has expanded through the years. And just really well done. And at one point, Professor Michel Mayor comes into the picture himself, and he joins along and helps lead the tour of the universe. And yeah, he is clearly a rock star. People are trying to get his autograph. So yes, but this is Big Bangs and Black Holes. And just if you love to collect nonfiction, graphic nonfiction, this is one you need to make sure is on your shelves. So that is that. Next up, let's talk about Scurry, which we don't have a physical copy.
No, but I was able to read it. And
see this image here?
Yes, and I said to myself, oh, well, this is probably going to be a cat and mouse story with a few rats thrown in. But I quickly found out that it's the makings of a Netflix series. There are
Well, not really, but it could be.
It could be a
Yes,
Netflix.
we don't want to start any rumors.
Yeah, but you know, you get in on the ground floor because there are so many interesting characters. They're all animals.
They are.
Yes, but there are so many in there, and it goes from the wilderness to urban settings, and it can.
It's a post-human dystopia setting.
Yes. And like in some of these series, there are like secondary characters that you
should always have those.
Yes, that you tend to feel for, and when I was reading it was the moose, and I said, why are you feeling so close to this moose? And I must have been my youth spending summers up in New Hampshire, where they had moose crossings. But anyway, it's is it 2 books or?
It's a series.
It's a
so
series.
You can read a lot of these.
Yes.
But it's starting with a collection of the first 6 comics.
The first 6
comics are collected in this one volume, and yes.
Yeah, no, but
We're hoping there'll be more.
It was one of those things you go back and go back and go back and go back to.
Yes, and
and
it's
say,
so
what
beautiful.
is going to happen next?
Yes, it's a thrill a minute for sure.
Thrill a minute,
Yes. So that is Scurry, and Mac Smith is just a really well-known author, and he's done a lot of work with some of the DC and all those kinds of things. So he's a big name in the graphic novel world. Next up, we have Stoneheart, which is by Emma Kubert, who did one of my very favorite graphic novels of all time called Inkblot, which is about basically a librarian and her magical cat who can bend space and time. I mean, doesn't that sound like fun? Yes, I just loved that. So in this one we have Shade Whisper, who is the heroine of Stoneheart. And she's a very bubbly, energetic, kind person. And she shows up, she's a blacksmith. She comes to this town and she's like, I'm going to, meet all these people and it's going to be great. And she realizes that she's got kind of a blank in her memory, that she's got some amnesia and doesn't really know what happened. And then she has this experience where she suddenly becomes very, very magically powerful. And everybody wants a little bit of that. So this is one of those things where we have a very likable heroine who is given power she did not ask for, but then once she has it, everybody wants to play a part and wants a piece of her. and she's got to figure out a way to stay true to herself and still, triumph over all the evil that's in this world. So it's gripping, it's thrilling, it's adventurous. She's a very likable heroine that you kind of want as your best friend by the end. She's just a lovely person. Actually, you want her as your best friend from the first page. So please be sure to check out Stoneheart, and that is coming from Image Comics. And then next up, we have another graphic novel, because this is kind of graphic novel time. We have Ahia Hia, The Orphan, and this comes to us from Inhabit Media, which is a publisher based in Canada. They have offices in Toronto and up in Iqaluit and Nunavut, and they publish books that deal with Inuit art and culture, and they always have at least one of the creative team is somebody from that community. Ahia Hia is a legendary figure in Inuit mythology, and he is an orphan, and this tells his story. Obviously, it's called Ahia Hia the Orphan, and the art is just gorgeous. I mean, the landscapes are beautifully, beautifully rendered, and here you see the orphan child being raised by his grandmother, and she wants to give him protection. So she does everything she can to make sure that he will be safe. And when he becomes an amazing archer, and he's very brave, but there comes a time when everybody in the village decides that they want him gone. So they decide to kill him, but his magical protection and his ability to always defend himself come to the rescue, and he is able to defeat them and survive, and then become this mythical hero. And it's just, I mean, this looks like Boromir, but he survives, right? See all those arrows coming out of him. But he is protected, as we said. And then your final image is Ahia Hia with his companion. And it's just a beautiful graphic novel. And if you like those stories of the North and adventures from mythical creatures, mythical people, then this is a book for you. And you've got another book from Inhabit Media.
I do, and it is Benny the Bananasaurus Rex.
Oh.
And did I mention that I'm a grandfather?
Are you a grandfather?
I
Show
am
me
a
pictures
grandfather,
later.
Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely will.
Okay.
But the one thing I've discovered is that little children like bananas.
They do?
Bananas, yes.
And do they also like other?
And then they also like dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, they
yes,
do.
Yes. And and then there's that old saying, when you would eat a lot of one particular thing, like a banana,
Yeah.
the adult will say, "You'll turn into a banana if you eat another
true.
one," right? And so, and that's what Benny actually would
But
like.
I'm not a donut.
Yes.
Oh, well, okay, sorry. Just,
Oh, that was
just
another
going
book.
back to
That
another
was
book.
another book.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
back to Bananasaurus
Yeah, but
Rex.
anyway,
Yes.
Benny likes dinosaurs, and he is here with his. Is it his grandmother here?
Yeah, Siak, his grandmother.
Siak.
So
yes,
these have
yes.
a little bit of Arctic flavor to them, but
Yes.
these are, accessible to anybody. So
Yes. And they're talking about that, and he's in his dinosaur suit, and then he actually.
Well, I love the thing she says to him, because he says, "Why isn't there an Inuktitut word for banana?" And she's like, "Well, they don't grow here."
Right.
So we just use the word from where they're grown.
Grown,
which makes perfect sense when you think about
and
it.
So, and he actually turns into a combination banana brontosaurus, yes. And so a Bananasaurus Rex.
It's not a
right.
brontosaurus. That's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, clearly.
Tyrannosaurus,
No arms.
yeah,
We should
yes.
show that picture to people.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it's pretty.
Those arms? I don't know.
Yeah,
No, those are peels. I don't know.
I think it's kind of a peel arm.
A peel arm. Okay. Anyway, so this is a fun book that young children will really enjoy. Yes.
And grown-ups, too.
Yes.
All right. And next up from Tiger Tales, we have a series that has come back, yay! And this is Stitchhead, and I just love this little guy. He was a creation of the evil Dr. Erasmus, who was just experimenting, and little Stitchhead is the first creation. And Erasmus goes on to create more and more terrifying monsters, and Stitchhead kind of keeps it all together and makes sure that they get the potion that makes them not so terrifying and kind of calms things down. But the illustrations are fun. He's got a lot of heart. There's a lot of humor. And I just have to show you some of these illustrations of the people inside. It's just so engaging. And I feel like this is a book for those kids who like a little bit of spookiness, but not a lot. So think Goosebumps-ish, but are really into Frankenstein at the same time. and it's such fun storytelling. So this is The Ghost of McCLOSKEY, and we also have The Pirate's Eye, and there are more to come. So be looking for these for Tiger Tales. They do such a good job with these series chapter books. Kids love them. They circulate like crazy. So if you're wanting to find some really super kid-friendly books, then Tiger Tales is a go-to.
Well, High Top, the sneaker that just can't stop, by Tom Lacey, and the publisher is
Tiger Tales.
Tiger Tales.
This is more
yes.
Tiger Tales, yeah.
Another book that makes me wish I was back in the classroom. And yes, because it is such a fun book where all the Shoe Town, there is Shoe Town, and each shoe has its own personality. And I said, if I were back in a school, I would assign, my assignment would be that each student would have to bring in some footwear. Yes,
Okay.
yes, it could be
Hopefully
a slipper.
they're wearing some footwear.
Yes,
You mean extra?
Yeah, another one.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
that
Okay,
will be
yeah.
the center of their story.
Okay.
And will become their character, just like High Top is the character of this
Yeah.
story. And so they can, create their own story following the lead of this particular
Yeah,
book.
and High Top just tears through everything. He's
He
always
does.
on the move.
He
Because
is.
he's a sneaker.
He's a
really
sneaker.
fast.
Yes, but then
knocking people over.
Then we have Suzanne, who is the ballet slipper, and then we have Lorraine.
R-A-I-N.
Yeah, Lorraine, who is this
Galosh. She's a
Galosh.
galosh.
Right. Yeah. So those are just two of So they would have to create a name for their footwear.
They would
Yeah,
have to
yes,
create, and it's also a story about community too,
Yes.
because at the end he holds an apology party because he's run over everybody.
Yeah, well,
So-
they just can't stop. He just
He
cannot.
just can't stop. That's
right.
not a finished book. I should point out that this
That-
is not.
yes.
There is a regular hardcover coming on High Top.
Yes.
So
but
yes.
anyway, yes, and so go home to your closet and pick out the shoe that has the best personality. Okay, and then just think about it.
And if a shoe name occurred to you, then feel free to put that in the comments.
Oh yes.
Yes.
And what would happen if they
You
put
could
it?
win your own copy of High Top among other books.
Yes,
amazing.
yes.
That would be amazing.
So exciting. So exciting.
Well, I'm very excited to share this final book because it's not just a book now, it's also an audio book by Live Oak Media. So this is a story about a little drum who doesn't really feel like he gets to do the fun stuff. I mean, all the other instruments have wild melodies that they get to play, but when it comes right down to it, this little snare, he just is there to create the beat, but it actually is the most important part of the entire band. So this is In My Neighborhood, and if there was ever a book that really needed an audiobook, it's a book about how a drum is part of the band and providing the support for that. And this has been turned into an amazing audiobook that I hope you will all check out by Live Oak Media, who is, I think of them as the Tiffany of children's book audio producers. Everything they've done is just a little gem and just needs to be celebrated. So we're going to be able to share a few seconds of In My Neighborhood with you right now, and then we'll come right back.
In my neighborhood, on my side of town, we don't say it with words, we sing it with sounds. We don't utter a sentence or mutter a phrase. We talk to each other in musical waves.
Well,
It's
that
been
was
so much fun.
Yes, and Ellen.
And wasn't that great?
That was great. Yes,
Yes, I loved
and
it.
I can't wait to listen to the whole thing.
I'll make sure you get a copy.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yes, and because for Christmas I got earbuds.
You
Yeah.
did? You got earbuds?
Yes, yes.
You know what? If you comment, I bet I can send you, people comment about the audiobook, I can send you an audiobook.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Well, I always enjoy when you visit because there are so many great books, and they're all so diverse, and I always learn something. Yes, and And thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you, Rocco. It's been so much fun being with you, and thanks to our authors, Rebecca Gard and Levington and Kevin McCLOSKEY. Weren't they amazing? And don't you want to read those books right now?
We do,
and thanks for putting up with me doing story time, because it's been too long. And clearly, I need to be in a program.
Okay.
You can figure out what I mean by that. But yes, so it's been lovely. Thank you.
Well, remember, until next time, read a book in any format.